two mouths of the, of the hole that she or he has dug for himself or herself. Now, but if ifal, the khassa, the speciality of ifal is salb ma'khaz. It's the opposite. As for example, falas, this is money. Iflas, you don't have any money. It's negative. In the same case, nafaq, to save, infaq, to spend. Give it away. The couplet which I quoted from Iqbal, tu bacha bacha ke na rakhi se, tera aina hai wo aina, ke shikasta ho to aziz tar hai nigahe aina saath. This saving your money, accumulating wealth, and then amwalun iqtaraftumuha wa tijaratun takhshawna kasadaha wa masakinu tardawnaha. These three forms of wealth, abaukum wa abnaukum wa ikhwanukum wa azwajukum wa ashiratukum, 5 closest relations. If the love for these 8 things is more than the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger and jihad for His cause, fatarabbasu hatta yati Allahu bi amri wallahu la yahdi al-qawm al-fasiqin. So here I end with this discussion of nifaq. This is actually the beginning of nifaq, is turning your back from jihad. तपती राहें मुझको पुकारे, दामन पकड़े छांव घनेरी. That is why I had this sequence. First we discussed jihad, and to refrain from jihad, to turn away from jihad, to turn away from spending your money for the cause of Allah and your lives for the cause of Allah. That is the basis of nifaq, and it has these 3 stages. First of all, the pre-nifaq stage, when Iman has become za'if. As you know, when a person is weak, his defense mechanism is weak, then infection takes place. If you are strong enough, the bacteria are there, but they can't do any harm to you. But when the resistance has broken, then they invade you. So when Iman becomes zaif, but it is zaif Iman so long as you are accepting your shortcomings. And you are, also, you want to be forgiven. You go to the prophets, those people went to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please forgive us and do istighfar for us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not nifaq. It is only weakness of Iman. But when they started making lame excuses, lying to be exempted, it started nifaq. When they were swearing and all wrong things, it became the second stage. And when there was enmity, why these people, they have become fanatics and they have made us apparent that we are cowards or we are not doing what we should do, then actually this has reached the 3rd stage. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He saves us from this nifaq. He gives us the courage to fix our priorities. Priority number 1 is Allah. Priority number 1 is to make jihad for the cause of Allah. मैं इसीलिए मुसलमान, मैं इसीलिए नमाजी, मेरी जिंदगी का मकसद तेरे दीन की सरफराजी. This should be the sole aim before every Muslim. I have to live to make the deen of Allah supreme, to establish the deen of Allah as a social order in this world. Now, because this is, the end of a 10 days series of lectures, I want to make a brief review. What was the sequence? What we have discussed? As you must be remembering, actually I intended only to spend 2 days for the discussion on Iman. But then I had to take 3 days, 6 sessions, 6 hours on Iman. This is the most fundamental thing. The whole structure stands on Iman. This is the foundation over which the whole building is standing. And we have been ignoring this Iman. We don't feel that it is very important to discuss it. As if it is there, it is taken for granted that we have it. My diagnosis was, which I made about 30 years back, that where we are lacking is this place. We have a creed, a racial creed. It's Aqidah. This Aqidah we have borrowed from our parents. That conviction is not there. And unless that conviction is there, actually our conditions will never change. We will be going on saying what we are not practicing. Making loud claims of Islam and Iman and love for Allah and love for the Prophet and doing nothing. That condition will continue so long as we don't have the real Iman. That is why I discussed Iman at length in 6 hours. Then I took 2 hours in shirk. Because if you boil down Iman into one word, it is Tawheed. Our deen is Deenut Tawheed. And I told you, any good, any virtue, whether it is of action or of thought, it is necessarily a corollary of Tawheed. Every evil, everything bad, whether of practice and action or of thinking or thought, it is necessarily a corollary of shirk. That is why I told you, I have 6 hours tapes on Haqiqat wa Aqsam Shirk in Urdu. But here I didn't have that time. I only gave 2 hours. But those of you who are interested in the subject, they should try to listen. They are only audio tapes, not video tapes. 6 hours for Haqiqat wa Aqsam Shirk. Then we discussed, because Iman is an ideology. Just as, the edifice of communism, it was built on an ideology. The ideology was Marxism. Every ideology, worth the name, it has a practical manifestation. First of all, that manifestation happens and appears in personalities, individuals. Then that ideology takes a collective form. It takes the form of a social order. It takes the form of a political socio-economic system. So Islamic ideology, that is Iman, actually which is the manifestation of that very ideology, the system of caliphate, the political system under caliphate, the economic system under caliphate, the social system under caliphate. What is this? This is actually the practical manifestation of that ideology whose collective title is Iman. That is why I took, I think I took 4 days. 8 hours I have spoken about this. First of all, I gave you the glad tidings of the Prophet ﷺ, that the same system which he established in the Arabian Peninsula and which was extended in 24 years after the death from Oxus to Atlantic and from Yemen to Caucasian mountains, that system, Khilaf ala minhaj al-Nubuwah, will be re-established on this earth. And when it is going to be re-established again, then it will be global. It will be over the whole of the world. Inna Allah zawali al-ard, fara'aytu mashariqaha wa magharibaha, wa inna ummati sayablughu mulkuha ma'zuri ali minha. I have given you the ahadith, and I explained them, in detail. Then I told you, what is that Nizamul Khilafah? What are the fundamentals that cannot be changed? These are the roots. The tree has to stand on this root. If it is cut, if it has no connection with the root, then it is not a tree now. So it has to maintain its roots, its fundamentals. But it has to move with the movement of the time. Much water has flown down the river of time, and we have to see what ijtihad we have to make, what institutions that humanity has developed about state, about constitutions, these things. Whatever is haram in these things has to be chopped off. But whatever is within the limits of the Sharia, whatever is, mubah, we have to incorporate it and join with it the principles of the Khilafah that we found 1400 years ago. Now that I gave you in detail, and especially the political system, the constitutional structure, because that is the basis. Constitution decides how laws will be framed over here, how decisions will be taken over here. So once it is decided that no legislation can be done here repugnant to the Quran and the Sunnah, because sovereignty here belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To people, there is no sovereignty. Whatever they have is vicegerency, although it is collective vicegerency.